Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cindy.
And we're here with another Feeding Frenzy for the 40-Day Prosperity Plan, and we're on day 34. Getting close. We're on the home stretch. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within, as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply, thus my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. Do you know what it's speaking to me right now? And I think Jade brought this up a little while ago. And it stands out for me as well. This last little bit. Thus my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. Not the substance, not the supply, but my consciousness of it is my supply.
So what does that mean to you?
To me, that means as soon as I can learn me and understand how I work and how God works through me, as me, then I can have anything, because I've then tapped into that supply.
Okay, so where is it?
Good question. I don't know yet. One
You
step
tell me
at
you
a
haven't
time.
figured that out yet. You haven't learned you.
I haven't learned me yet. Or no, I'm at 45 years of practice, almost 45 years of practice, and I still don't know me yet. I'm learning, still learning. But that's why it's practice. I haven't mastered it yet. I'm still practicing. And I'm glad, too, because then that means I'm not as shallow as I thought.
Why? How does that mean that?
Well, if I could get to it that quickly, maybe, you know.
Well, if it were
I don't
easy,
know.
everybody would do it.
If it
right?
were easy, then there would be no challenge there. We would all be doing it, and what would we learn from it? You know? We come here to have the experience in order to learn the lessons that we need to learn for soul growth. Do you believe that? I do too. And if all of the lessons came easy, there would be no challenge in this.
You get bored.
We'd get bored really easily.
Okay, so read it again.
Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within, as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply, thus my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply.
So the substance is my supply, and so is the consciousness of that. Both are my supply.
But for me, it's saying as soon as I can tap into the consciousness, I don't have to tap into the substance. As soon as I can tap into the consciousness, that lets me know the substance is there. Then I have everything I need.
So, are you saying that when we get into that lack mentality or that panic mode, then all we got to do is remind ourselves God is source. And as soon as we tap into that consciousness that God is our source,
then I think we start the process of getting back into the flow. We can start the process of getting back into alignment. Once we can change that thought, we start reversing. Anytime we get into that lack mentality, we're pushing it away, right? We're saying, I can't accept this. I'm not there yet. But anytime we can turn that around, then we're dropping our arms, so to speak. We're taking down the wall. We've already started to reverse the process. It's almost like they say that once you quit smoking, you're already starting to reverse the process, because the body then takes over and does its own thing in order to heal itself. Right? Well, I think it's the same way. Once we start to get back into that positive thought, knowing that God is my source, we're already reversing the process that was pushing it away.
Okay.
Now we have to keep with it, just like when you're quitting smoking. You have to keep with it. If I say, well, okay, I just won't have this extra one today, that's not going to do it. Well, I think it's the same with this. I don't think that one thought is going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It has to become a practice to where we stay in that.
Well, to me now, for it to be in my consciousness, I think that's beginning to be more and more, or become more and more, for me, just a second nature kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And once it's in my consciousness, that means I don't think about it anymore. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be terrified of storms. And every time a storm would come up, I would just freak out and panic until I realized that I can't do this because it's scaring my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just practiced at not being afraid of storms. And I just realized that God's got this.
Mm-hmm.
And, He's going to take care of me. And the fear went away. Until it became a part of my consciousness. And now it's storms, I don't even think about it storming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like for me that's getting it into my consciousness is when it becomes a part of me so much so that I don't even think about it anymore.
Mm-hmm. But to me, that's just the first step. Being able to say, God is my source like that, okay, you got there, but then now what?
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's the first step. Knowing God is my source. Well, but then as soon as I know that, I've tapped into the substance that's going to take me to my next step.
Okay.
And as long as I'm listening, I'm going to know what it is.
Mm-hmm. So what happens if you don't know?
If I don't know, I don't go. I listen harder. I ask another question. What do I need to change? What is it I'm not seeing? And if I still can't get it, then I'll ask somebody else. Hey, this is the situation. What is it I'm not seeing? Because sometimes, standing in the middle of the forest, standing in front of a tree is hard to see the forest.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can find somebody outside of the situation or whatever it is that can look in and objectively tell me, hey, you need to do this, that, or the other thing. I may not have seen it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm using what I know to be a good way to get to the answers that I can't see myself.
Mm-hmm.
But the answers are still here. Usually when I get that advice, it's something that I already knew.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to be reminded of it.
Right.
I need my vision cleared. I need someone else to help me see it. And I think that's where our like-minded friends come in. And those who, are in our families that support us, and spouses, and even sometimes my children will point out something that I didn't see before.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have a clearer view of it.
Right.
Or maybe not so many filters that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So they're able to see it a little better.
Right. Okay. So let's switch it for good.
Okay. Through my consciousness of my good, the good within, as my good, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of good.
Mm.
This substance is my supply. Thus my consciousness of the good within me is my supply.
Wow.
What does that say to you?
That when you call it good, it's got to be good.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at everything as good, if we're going to judge, let's judge it as good,
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be good.
No. Why would you say if we're going to judge something, let's judge it good?
Well, because I just...
Plain devil's advocate here. Why wouldn't you say, we'll just call everything bad?
Because that's not fun. I don't want things to be bad.
Well, for me, when we're talking about energy, if I call something good, I am more apt to open to it and to allow it. If I call something bad, the first thing I want to do is close to it.
Right.
Repel it from me.
Mm-hmm.
If I call something good, I am more willing to let that energy in.
Mm-hmm. I see that. I want to call it good because I resist the bad, which is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want bad things to happen, so I think if we call it good, then even if it's really not all that good, it gets better.
Well, but it may not be in that moment. But almost all of us, even through, a horrible time in our past can see even a little bit of good later
Oh yeah.
that comes out of it.
We'll laugh at this later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And I just think if everything we call good, it's got to get better.
It has to be. If you call it good, it has to be good. Right? Because I'm automatically going to see the good in it. Right, I'm going to replace it with joy. Through my consciousness of my joy, the joy within, as my joy, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of joy. This substance is my supply, thus my consciousness of the joy within me is my supply.
That's just saying to me that whatever we concentrate on, whatever we focus on, is what we're going to get more of. If we focus on good, we're going to get more good. If we focus on joy, we're going to get more joy. And it works the same way the other way. If we focus on the bad, we're going to get more bad.
If we focus on the problem, what are we going to get?
More trouble.
More problem, right? We're certainly not going to find the solutions.
Read that last part again with joy in there.
This substance is my supply. Thus my consciousness of the joy within me is my supply. So if I know the joy in me, then I can always bring it forth, right? If I know the God in me, then I can bring it forth. If I know the supply in me, then I can bring it forth. So that is the key right there. It's the consciousness, my knowing.
Right, well, and every word we've replaced with God, they're what we would call good words, or positive words. And I think when we have a positive outlook, a positive attitude, and we let the joy pour forth, or the love pour forth, or the good pour forth, then the money's got to follow. The it just attracts the money, because money's energy. And the more energy we put out, the more energy we attract. So it's got to bring it to us.
All right, let's do this one more time. I'm going to replace it with money.
Okay.
Through my consciousness of my money, the money within, as my money, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of money. This substance is my supply, thus my consciousness of the money within me is my supply. What did that do for you?
It just reminds me more of the same. What we put out, we're going to get back. And if we want more love, then we put out more love. And if we want more money, we put out more money. We bring forth that energy that becomes money.
But that statement, if I want more money, I put out more money, seems to be contradictory to what I was taught. I was taught, growing up, that if we wanted more money, you saved more money.
Right, but we both know that by giving and tithing, you can't outgive God. Even though sometimes it looks like, how in the world can I give 10% when I've got bills coming? It gets hard. It gets hard.
That's where your trust comes in.
Well, and trust comes in every time the funds get low. Trust comes in. And sometimes that's easy and sometimes it's not. Sometimes I don't even think about it. Other times, man, I'm praying.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
We're both doing that. It's good stuff.
Shreen.
Shreen.